gentlemen, this is Nonmetals and Metalloids and correlates with Chapter 5.4 in your textbook. Your key concepts for this video are, what are the properties of nonmetals, and how are nonmetals classified? So first off, a nonmetal is simply an element that is a poor conductor of heat and electricity, meaning it doesn't pass heat and electricity very well. So all of these things here, these are nonmetals. Let's talk about their properties a little more in depth. Now, we've got some physical properties of nonmetals. Physical property of nonmetals is that they have low luster, meaning they're dull, they're not shiny like metals are. They also are brittle, meaning if you hit them with a hammer, they're going to shatter into a bunch of pieces rather than flattening out like a metal. They also are insulators. Whereas metals are conductors of heat and electricity, nonmetals are insulators, meaning they block the travel of heat and electricity. So we use an insulating material on the outside of hot coffee to keep our hands from burning. We use an insulating material on the outside of the wires to keep the electricity from going outside of the wires. And they also happen to be mostly gas at room temperature, whereas most metals are solid at room temperature. We've also got some chemical properties. Now, one chemical property is that they form non-metal compounds. So nonmetals bonding to nonmetals. They can also bond with metals, but the two nonmetals together, they can form this cool thing called a diatomic molecule. Now, that's simply when you've got two nonmetals bonded together. So you've got two atoms. So here, N2, that's a diatomic molecule, O2. Here we've got hydrochloric acid, HCl, or carbon monoxide, CO. All of this is two atoms bonded together to form that diatomic molecule. Now, how are nonmetals classified? We know that our metals are to the left of the zigzag line. Our nonmetals are to the right of the zigzag line, except for hydrogen. Hydrogen's special and all by its lonesome over here in group 1. So when we talk about their groups or their families, let's talk about hydrogen first. So hydrogen is this first element in group 1, period 1. It's the simplest of all atoms, and it actually makes up 90% of all the atoms in their universe. And you might think, wow, that seems like a lot. But think about it. Stars are mostly hydrogen. You take two hydrogen atoms together and smash them to create helium, and that's what causes stars like our sun to create light and heat. The next group that's important to know about is the carbon family. This is group 14. Carbon is the basis of all known life. It's also in most fuels that you burn, so like gasoline is based in carbon. Wood is based in carbon. There are other elements in the carbon family, but carbon is the only nonmetal in that family. We've also got the nitrogen family. This is group 15. Nitrogen is required by all living things. You've got four main elements in your body. You've got hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen. Those are the main elements. Nitrogen is really, really important. The other nonmetal in this group is phosphorus, which is also highly reactive. So it's very dangerous because it can be kind of explosive. Then we've got in group 16 our oxygen family, and our nonmetals in that family are oxygen, sulfur, and selenium. Oxygen, as you know, is essential for life, and if you've ever had that rotten egg smell, that's due to sulfur. So, always handy there. Our group 17 is our halogen family. Now we know that our group 1 alkali metals is the most reactive of the metals. Well, halogens here, they're the most reactive of the nonmetals. These guys are always reactive, and this makes them very dangerous in their pure form. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and acetane all can be very poisonous in their pure form. We've also got group 18 here. These are our noble gases. We didn't actually know about these noble gases for a long time because they're non-reactive, meaning they don't react with other things, which made it very difficult to discover them. And lastly, we've got our metalloids. These make up our zigzag line. They're not quite metals, and they're not quite non-metals. They've got properties of both. So this makes them semiconductors, meaning under certain conditions they'll conduct heat and electricity, and in other conditions they won't, which makes them great for using in circuit boards and a lot of electricity and really small things in your cell phone. Lots of metalloids in there. That's it. Be sure your notes hit all the key concepts and vocabulary, and feel free to try this challenge question.